Midweek racing to look forward to again in the Eastern Cape, and on the 17th of August, Tuesday, we will look forward to 8 races on the Poly once again. Kicking off with race 1 at 12:30, which is a maiden plate over 1,000 metres, and to start with, in numerical order, 1, 2 and 3 are my first picks. I think that Swing the Willow relocates off what is very eye-catching Highveld form. Excuses for his last. The yard are expecting a good run, and I do think that Swing the Willow could be the horse to beat. In saying that, number 2, KS Var, is not to be taken lightly. This fellow has done everything except win in his last 2 starts, where he's been right there, second behind the Black Manx, and last time out defeated only 0.1 of a length behind Own Your Fate. That is really obvious form, and I do think that these two are probably going to be the horses that go head to head. Moving on to that third spot, number 3, Chocolate, did not catch the eye last time out. Don't overlook that it was on grass, and so far his best local run easily has been on Poly, which was in his penultimate when over course and distance, running 4th behind Own Your Fate. In that respect, not actually quite too far behind KS Bar. So do take note of that, and I do think that he can get into the action. In race 2, merit rated 75 handicap, staying over the 1,000 metre trip. Numbers of interest here, 1, 4 and 3. Iron Henry was back for break last time out and on grass, and he didn't run a good race, it's fair to say, but the yard do feel that he could just have needed that, and also didn't appreciate the going that day. And back on Poly, he's going to be much more to himself. And if you look at his Poly runs and Poly wins in the Eastern Cape, they've been very useful, so expect more from Iron Henry. This is the type of race he can win. Number 4, Magic Blaze, has given 2 fair accounts of himself in the Eastern Cape so far, and he will be trying the Poly again here, but more importantly, he will also be trying the blinkers for the first time from a good draw, and already a naturally pacey sort that could bring him on. I do see him being able to feature here. Number 3, Kingston Rock. He's been a little bit disappointing and in and out in the Eastern Cape so far, but without a doubt, his best run has been on the Poly, and that was in his penultimate, running 3rd behind Alpha Papa. The yard feel that he will be well suited to 1,000 on the surface here from a good draw, and are expecting him in the mix. Race 3 is a maiden plate for 3-year-olds over the mile trip. And here I will lead with Arctic Advance to beat number 2, Constellation Code, and number 4, Future Craft. Making no bones about it, number 1, Arctic Advance, looks really hard to oppose here. His form is, with all due respect to the rest of the field, the only form in the race, and he has placed in all 4 of his last starts. The yard have said they were actually expected him to have left the maidens by now. So Arctic Advance in solid form looks very hard to oppose and does stand out on the card. Number 2, Constellation Code, is running in fair form and does look to have claims as far as the placings are concerned, that runner-up position specifically. And number 4, Futurecraft, hasn't really done too much in his 2 starts to date, but the yard have said that he's looking for distance, steps up to try the mile for the first time, ideally wants even further, but this is a step in the right direction, and they are expecting improvement. Race 4 next up, staying over the mile trip, is the Fillies and Mares 65 handicap, and it really does look as if the Smith Yard have a strong hand here with their runners of number 2, Car and Blixen, and towards the end, Sheba Darling and Avia, which are horses 11 and 12. The 2 that really catch my eye though, number 12, Avia, who I am tipping for the win to beat stable companion number 2, Car and Blixen. And then including the likes of number 9, and that is La Duchesse. Starting with Avia, I just think that she's really knocking hard on the door for that second career win. Second last time out behind Malteser. That was her first crack at the mile, and it was also on the Poly. So a good positive showing in her first run over track and trip. She comes in with no weight, with the claiming of apprentice Uzay Ramzan taking off 2.5. She's down to 51.5, and she jumps from gate 4. So there are a lot of positives about Avia. And though number 2, Car and Blixen, does look the horse to beat, there's 7.5 kilos between them, which is quite significant, and that could just swing in Avia's favour. In saying that, number 2, Car and Blixen, the coup de grace 3-year-old, really posted a positive run against Older for the first time last time out when in a similar division, and doing her best work late from a long way back to run third behind Just Adore Her. That day over 1200, she'll step up to try the mile, but as that run suggests and as the yard expects, they do think that this is going to be up her alley, so definitely a runner, number 2, Karen Blixen, that can find the winner's box. Number 9, La Duchesse, was another horse who ran well over course and distance last time out when doing her best work late to finish second behind Wings of Fire. She does have the draw against her, but she is a horse that comes from off them anyways, so don't write her off, she can get involved. Race 5 is a merit rated 68 handicap up to 1900, 3, 7 and 2, the numbers that catch my eye. Imperious Duke is the obvious form horse here in his last 4 runs, having notched up 2 wins and 2 placings, and he really finished stoutly last time out over 2200 on the poly. Cuts back slightly in trip here, but with Uzair Ramzan retaining the ride, gets the Appy claim and a neat draw, very well suited to the poly. It is his favourite surface. He really does look the horse to beat. Number 7, can run competitively. That's Homer Fidget, also a horse that is in strong form at the moment and knocking on the door for that second career win. He should be right there. For third, number 2, Baka, was caught a bit far back in the running last time out, and with a little bit more of a positive ride, can get even closer than he did last time out. He didn't run a bad race, finishing just under 4 lengths to take the world. Race 6 is a sprinting trip, 1200 meters, and this is a conditional graduation. It's a really tricky field. We've got some horses here that do have ability. Number 1, Herodotus, new to the Eastern Cape, wants further, but a fair sort. Nafa, definitely useful, having his first local start, but has gone off form. They are 2 class horses if they can produce their best here, so it's very hard to know where to go. I am sticking with distance suited and in form in the way of number 5, Inherit the Rain, even though as far as the weights are concerned, he's not well in. I do think a lot of his run last time out behind Global Drummer when finishing second, a run that he can build on and does give him a fair shout here. So going for number 5, Inherit the Rain. I'm tipping him to beat number 1, Herodotus, although not distance suited. He is well weighted and he is running in good form, albeit over a touch further. I don't think he should be underestimated. Number 2, Nafa, races off a break. The yard field, they've got as much work into him as they can, so though he might just need it, if he can recapture the form that he was running to, he can be competitive. On to race 7, this is a pinnacle stakes over 1400 meters, and 1, 2 and 5 are my numbers here. Going with Global Drummer, who's not put a foot wrong of recent, and yeah, he's looking for his 5th run in a row and his 11th run in total, so you cannot argue with form like that. Versatile, he has earned 1, should I say, from 1000 to the mile, so the 14 here, not a problem, and he's actually unbeaten on the poly surface, so this fellow ticks a lot of boxes. Also comes in, although not the best weighted, very well weighted. I do think that number 2, Earth Hour, is a horse that can never be overlooked. His form says it all. He is always giving of his best and has done well over course and distance. Don't leave him out. Number 5, Karaoke, didn't quite come to the party last time out in the East Cape Paddock Stakes, but considering that day she raced off a non-black type win as well as a listed victory, it does prove her merit and you can expect better from her. She is the best weighted horse in the lineup, and even though up against useful male opposition, I do think is not without shout. Race 8 is the last of the afternoon. We finish up over the 1400 meter trip again for a merit rated 68 handicap, and here my numbers will be 3, 5 and 2. Now Life on Mars really won a good race in his penultimate to leave the maidens, and he proved himself by holding form in a decent lineup in his next when running second to Trickster in a novice plate. Trickster that day was well weighted to win off the type of form that she ran off, so he did a good job to get within a quarter of a length of her, and a reproduction of that run is going to see him right there again. Number 5, Timcat, always a useful sort. When he first relocated to the Eastern Cape, he was battling to make inroads and regain his form, but last time out he sprung to life and he ran a really good third behind Radiant Love, who had jumped favourite that day. I think that coming back to hand certainly must be respected. Number 2 is Nubel, and last time out she had excuses for her last, where she was caught wide in the running. She does take on male opposition here, but has won on the poly surface, is capable of better, and can get a look in as far as the placings are concerned. We go back to race 2 to start off the PA. That will start at 1 on the dot on Tuesday. And in the first leg, I go with the numbers 1, 3, and 4, which are my first 3 selections, being Iron Henry, Kingston Rock, and Magic Blaze. A banker for the PA in leg 3, as I alluded to in breaking down form a little bit earlier, Arctic Advance looks really hard to oppose, and as such, I feel quite safe with him as a banker here. 3 horses for leg 3 of the PA, 2, 9, and 12, Karen Blixen and La Duchesse, as well as number 12, Abia, the horses that go in there. PA gets 2 selections in race 5. They are my first 2 selections, namely Imperious Duke, horse number 3, whose form says it all, and likewise number 7, Homer Fidget. I do think these are going to be main players as far as race 5 is concerned. On to race 6. This field is open. I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but a horse that certainly does stand out for me is number 5, Inherit the Rain, and I do think that he can come up trumps, so a banker for me here. In race 7, I move on, and once again, the PA gets a banker, and this is in the way of number 1, Global Drummer. You cannot argue with his form, never mind his recent form, his life form in general. He really is a useful individual, and yeah, he's the horse to beat once again. Race 8, always an open event on the card. Again, it's a Smith runner that grabs the eye in the way of number 3, Life on Mars. Definitely got to be included in PAs, and I will back him up with the stable companion number 2, Nubel, as well as number 5, Tim Cat. Coming back to race 3 to get the pick 6 started, and I stick with that PA banker of number 1, Arctic Advance. I think it would actually be an upset if he did get beat. I know you're not supposed to say there's anything as good as a racing certainty, but Arctic Advance looks very hard to oppose here. In race 4, the pick 6, I go somewhat wider here. There's a couple of races where horses do stand out for me, so in some races I'm able to afford to go a little bit wider, and this is one of them. The pick 6 gets field in race 4. On to race 5, PA numbers here 3 and 7. Pick 6 will get the additions of number 1, Super Noir, number 2, Baka, who I do feel was just a little bit too far back last time out, number 5, King's Fort, I think is better than his last, and number 8, Mjinski's Son would have needed his last, so expect improvement there. Race 6, a banker for the pick 6 again, PA banker number 5, Inherit the Rain, and I will stick with that as far as the pick 6 is concerned. Likewise, moving into race 7, Global Drummer will be another banker for the pick 6 for me. Moving into the last leg, and numbers of the PA here, 2, 3, and 5 definitely go in. I will bolster here with number 1, Reach for the Line, number 4, De Monte, number 8, Frankie Two Shoes, and number 10, The Sands. Who come this far definitely don't want to be falling out. The jackpot is slightly different to the pick 6. And immediately with the first leg of the jackpot, we do differ. Pick 6 here was field. I cut it down a bit for the jackpot, include the PA numbers of 2, 9, and 12, and add in all of 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Moving on to race 5, and here jackpot sticks with the same numbers as the pick 6, being 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. As far as race 6 is concerned, I stick with the banker there throughout, PA and pick 6, Inherit the Rain, jackpot, likewise, horse number 5, a banker. In race 7, Global Drummer meets 2 horses for the first time, one of them actually better off at the weights to him, and one not really far off behind him as far as the weights are concerned, and they are number 2, Earth Hour, and the likes of the mare Karaoke, which is horse number 5. So just to be safe, I have included them. I do think that Global Drummer stands out, but as far as stats are concerned, can he keep going? I do want to see him keep going, but just in case, I have bolstered him with those 2 horses that he meets for the first time. So that's how the last leg of my jackpot will end up 1, 2, and 5. Coming now towards the best and value bets, I've elected to leave out the value bet this afternoon and go with 2 best bets. They are, as I'm sure you've guessed, race 3, number 1, Arctic Advance, a horse that I think would upset if he didn't win. And my next best bet will be in race 6, number 5, Inherit the Rain. Let's hope all goes as smoothly as it looks on Tuesday. We know PE can throw those upsets, and let's cross our fingers and enjoy the day.